My main concern is, where's the finance coming from?
Well, to answer that, the main question at the end of that was, where is the finance coming from? Obviously, we have money in the bank from what we've raised over the last season as a trust, which will now form the basis of what we use for the football club. But essentially, the money that will be coming into the football club to pay the players' wages and everything else will be gate receipts, fundraising activities that we do, ongoing membership subscriptions to Sea Dog Trust, and merchandise. And hopefully, if a new supporters club gets set up and they continue to fundraise in the way that they did before, and they may well choose to offer that same help to the new football club as well. And to add to that, sorry, the other one I missed out was obviously match day sponsorship, ball sponsorships, and the usual income streams that any football club has. And we will have to live within our means.
Are you willing to incorporate any local business in your group?
In the setup,
that will put money into the club?
Honestly, if anybody wants to hand over a cheque for a few £1,000s, we're not going to turn them down. The board of Sea Dog Trust, and therefore the board of the football club, is an elected board. For people to be a director on that board, they have to become a member and stand for election. Now, within the rules of the society, we can co-opt members on, and we've actually done this recently with Wendy Danby. We offered to co-opt committee members from the supporters club onto Sea Dog Trust in a vote of conciliation, I think is the word I'm looking for, and Wendy's joined us recently under that scheme. Before the old club folded, we were looking to bring on people onto the board of Sea Dog Trust to make up for the areas where we lack in terms of skill. So we were looking for a professional, an accountant or a solicitor or the like, to join us on the board, and we can still use that. We still have that option for us with the new football club, and it's something we can look at. But certainly, in terms of, if we're not going to turn anybody down if they rack up with some money and want to hand it over.
Would it be a case of them putting it in as a donation?
Yeah, we'd have to check the rules for an IPS, but I don't think you can actually say, right, if you give us 10 grand, it's all right, we'll co-opt you on the board. I think that kind of goes against the grain of how it's set up.
What about advertising that rate?
It's something we haven't discussed in detail with Peter.
Available. Well,
good evening, everyone. Thanks for the warm welcome. It was much appreciated, that. I mean, as far as I could see, our ground only has about 50% uptake on the perimeter advertising board, so I think it's fair for me tonight to say that I could give you 40% of the space we've got at our ground, and we'll take 60 and try and fill it. So, the space...
pricing?
Well, no, that's entirely up to your own club, because whatever you put up, you take the money off. I mean, the situation, what I do at our ground is, you put a new board up, we'll manufacture the board, I think the 12 foot by 2 foot, something like that, and we charge, I think it's about £330 for the supply of the board and the rent of the board for that year. You then renew your board the following season, hopefully, and we charge, I think, something like £220 for the annual rent after that. Now, if you can organise that, you've got, like I say, you can have 40% of our perimeter around the touchline. We've got barriers all the way around the ground, surprisingly enough. Not that we ever need it, because we never have a crowd a quarter this side. So you can have 40% of that barrier, because it looks like you'll be leaning on it. So whatever income you take off that, you keep the income. Yeah? Any other questions on advertising? Is that okay? Will you make a note of that? 40%. Okay.
The shirts that you've already manufactured this year have got sponsors for the old Scarborough FC. Are those sponsors interested in paying money over the
That sponsorship deal with Scholars Bar and with Scarborough Hot Tubs was organised by the Supporters Club. Negotiations are still ongoing, and Stuart will confirm as to what they want to do for the coming season. And I can't really say much more than that at this stage.
Because if they won't pay the sponsorship, presumably the shirts change it.
It's just a very brief point of order. As one of the faithful few, could I just ask a brief resume, please? This is the first time I've attended one of these meetings, and I applaud everything you're doing. But could we get some idea of who we're actually talking to, please? Because at this moment in time, you're the board, the anonymous board. Just a very brief introduction would be helpful.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Yeah, we
I'm
should have
sorry,
done that at the start.
it's just a point of order.
Very true. Very true.
I don't want your autograph or anything.
God, it might be worth money sometime.
Right, we'll just go through very quickly through the board that are here this evening then. At the end we have Andy Troughton. Quiet please. Andy Troughton on the end. Wendy Danby, as we've already said. Stuart Keith here. Andy's wife Sandra. Myself, Simon Cope. Ben Courtney, nearly forgot your name. Exmouth, where he's not on the board. Richard Adamson, and on the end, Chris Rook.
So what your roles are?
At the moment I'm chair of the trust. Sandra is secretary. Sorry, treasurer. Ben is secretary. I'm getting ahead of myself there. We did have roles defined for everybody else, but we're really looking at those now in the light of the fact that we're now running a football club and we weren't 6 weeks ago. So we may well be looking at those roles again in the coming weeks. I'll just add that we're all football fans and have been, fans of Scarborough, and have been for donkey's years. And in total, I think we've got about 200 years combined following Scarborough between us. So I hope that answers.
If I could just say thank you very much indeed. I wasn't putting you on the spot, but thank you.
No, you're quite right to. You're quite right to. Any more?
If someone was to make a donation of, say, £200-300, how would the club acknowledge that? Would it be in the form of putting something in the programme? And a friend of mine would quite willingly do this, and he would just like to know if his firm is away from here, and if to see this in the programme sort of thing, would that encourage more business people locally to come on board?
Well, we'll have various ways of clubs helping out in the usual way. I mean, we've now got a programme editor on board. Thank you very much to James Hunter for offering to do that, and he's drawing up the design for that as we speak, and we need to have a discussion about how much we charge for advertising in that programme. In terms of donations, yeah, people are just making straight donations. We can list those in the matchday programme, no problem with that at all.
Do you think it would help though with people coming forward locally?
Yeah. I mean, it'll have a snowball effect. The more people, more companies that say other companies getting involved, I think that will help it to grow and grow.
Do you currently offer any investment opportunities? I'm not saying this is the direction of the trust, but with you being a non-profit organisation, say you did sell 40% of the trust, could you please explain to me how that would work in terms of ownership and potential money return?
Well,
I'm not suggesting that's the way it goes, but just let me understand how the dynamic works between the trust and outside ownership.
As it stands right now, we